welcome to another episode of Accessibility. It's a show on YouTube where I talk about the video game industry, accessibility, and representation. Basically, how can we help more people to play games, and more people to see themselves in the games they play? A couple of weeks ago, on May 20th, we celebrated Global Accessibility Awareness Day, a day dedicated across multiple industries to celebrating accessibility. While game developers can announce their accessibility settings any day of the year, I understand from a cynical marketing perspective why, if you've got accessibility settings to announce, and it's early May, and you know that Global Accessibility Awareness Day is coming up, you might hold that news for that day. We saw that with a few games this year. We saw Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart finally have its accessibility settings detailed without needing to freeze frame a trailer, and we also saw it happen for Psychonauts 2. In a half-hour-long video, Double Fine community manager Heather Alexandra and senior producer Kevin Johnson both detailed all of the accessibility settings coming to Psychonauts 2 at launch. So today, on Accessibility, we're going to talk about Psychonauts 2. We're going to summarise the 30-minute video that detailed all of the game's accessibility settings and condense that down a bit. We're going to talk about some of the groups of gamers who are helped by these settings, and we're going to talk about some small improvements that could be made to make these accessibility settings more accessible. When you first boot up Psychonauts 2, the game brings up a partial assist features menu, designed to make sure that players have the correct settings options enabled to enjoy the game's opening cutscene. Players on first boot can turn on subtitles, alter subtitle text language, swap out the game's custom wonky font for something more traditionally readable, increase subtitles to a single larger font size, as well as activate a setting called Localized Navigation Sign UI. This setting will localize in-game signage, including 3D environmental models, so that the text in-game matches that of your in-game subtitles. Apparently, this setting came about after conversations between Double Fine and Microsoft, following the developer's acquisition. Microsoft apparently impressed upon Double Fine the importance of integrating accessibility into the whole design process, not just tacking it on at the end, which helped make more resource-complex accessibility options like this possible. After this initial assist features menu, players are taken to a mental health advisory screen, which discusses some of the topics and scenarios included in the game, which may be difficult for certain kinds of players. Examples given by Alexandra and Johnson include a level in the game which is themed around gambling addiction, and the game's opening level, which is made entirely out of teeth and may cause issues for players with dental phobia. Other examples given on the mental health advisory screen include PTSD, panic attacks, anxiety, and delusion. While the game screen asserts that these topics are abstracted, touched upon in light-hearted ways, and the game is about healing and recovery, the information is there for players who may need it. After a short introductory video, players reach the main menu where they can jump into the full settings menu for the game. Now, something important to note here for players: the main game's settings menu has an assist features subsection, but it doesn't contain identical options to the assist features menu that was shown when the game first booted up. There's additional options in here that weren't shown to you last time you were in the assist features menu. I feel like this could have been better communicated. Maybe the first settings menu could have been called Quick Start Assist Features or something like that to separate it out from this full menu, as there is the possibility that players may miss additional settings, thinking that they've already gone through the settings menu on first boot up. This full version of the assist features menu contains a toggle to turn off fall damage, a toggle to turn on invincibility, and a narrative combat toggle, which drastically increases the strength of player character Raz's attacks. There's also a camera shake intensity slider for players with motion sickness, and colour blindness filters for a variety of colour blindness types. It was noted in the video that apparently the game's overall design has been made with the aim that colourblind players who don't find a setting that works for them can still navigate, thanks to important elements having unique recognisable shapes. Of important note, all of these accessibility settings can be used without limiting your ability to see content or unlock achievements. It was suggested that there is no penalty at all for using them, which is always appreciated. Psychonauts 2 also features fully remappable buttons, and in a really nice addition, you can apparently have button and feature overlaps, so that a single button, when pressed, executes multiple functions. If you struggle with pressing two buttons at the same time, you can map them to the same button. This could be particularly useful for players with controllers that feature additional buttons, such as controllers with back panel buttons to map combination functions to, or players using custom controllers such as the Xbox Adaptive Controller. Players can also tweak vibration intensity as a slider, tweak camera sensitivity and inversion, and toggle a camera assist that by default generally points the camera towards progression. Some common in-game traversal options which require multiple button inputs, such as going from a double jump into a glide, or a glide into levitation, can be toggled to instead only require successive presses of the jump button to activate. For functions that require a held button, such as lock-on or radial menu activation, you can instead toggle that to a single press, for players who may struggle with holding down buttons indefinitely. And lastly, Psychonauts 2 features a selection of audio sliders designed to help players balance audio in a way that works for them. While the accessibility settings on show here are promising and show a definite effort to be inclusive, there are a couple of tweaks and suggestions that I think would help improve things a little. I recognise that the game is approaching launch and the ability to make changes is minimal, but I think it's important to discuss where improvements can be made. While some of the accessibility settings in Psychonauts 2 can be adjusted to varying degrees, many of them are unfortunately on-off toggles. In a perfect world, players would, for example, have the option to reduce fall damage and combat damage by a few different increments, rather than just having a full damage or invincibility toggle, for example. Some players may not need no damage to be dealt with them, they might just need a little less damage to make it through the game. I would love to see a settings option, so that players who have a specific mental health trigger addressed in the mental health advisory screen could get a warning before that specific scene comes up, so they know when to brace for it. Knowing it's coming at some point in the game is a start, but games like Ikenfell do a really good job of letting players know when a specific scene that may impact a player is about to start. That's something I'd really like to see in any kind of game like this. Considering that the game has font options, allowing players to switch off the default wonky font, it would be great to see, rather than an on-off toggle for their custom font, a couple of different options. Perhaps offer a couple of the competing standards for dyslexia-friendly fonts, such as Open Dyslexic and a couple of common sans serif fonts like Arial or Comic Sans. Additionally, I'd love to see a little more in the way of subtitle options than just regular and large size. Offer a couple of different size options, subtitle backgrounds, speaker tags, colour-coded speaker identification, options like those. Those might already exist in the game as defaults in the subtitles, but they're good options to consider and things that I hope we see, or I hope could be added in future. While there are a few settings that aren't available or that I would like to see tweaked, overall I feel really positive about the level of accessibility available in Psychonauts 2. Obviously, I would like to see some clarification around things like the two different assist features menus that have different content in them, and there's some toggles that I would have preferred to see as having multiple options or being sliders, but overall I think this hits a lot of the basic stuff that video games should be doing in terms of accessibility, and is going to be playable for a decent number of players. Whenever Psychonauts 2 does end up releasing this year, it's reassuring to know that by looking at these settings, I should be able to play the game from both a physical disability and mental health standpoint. It's a lot easier for me to get excited about a game when I know this early on that I'm going to be able to play it okay.